Hey, today, what it takes is research on men's perception of female genitals. Yes, and the Strava's 2024 year in your sport. Hey, where are you going to get all this content from? Only this morning. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab, where excuse
when something negative comes up.
Building muscle and pool, blood flow.
Nobody is expecting, Sean.
If the lady's saying that, you're just
be entertained by fun over here.
How if I slept? Make my sleep feel good. That
Good morning, nation. What does it take to truly transform your relationship? Welcome back to Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Today we're here to dive into some exciting, and maybe some little awkward topics. We're going to come in with, Jimmy, we're going to throw us on screen here, brother. We're going to come in with some 2024 year in sport. We're going to check out what the 135 million athletes are doing differently this year on the old Strava platform. We're going to get into men's perceptions of female anatomy. Oh, yeah, we're doing that today, too. And we're also going to talk about the benefits of alone time here in the lab here. Coming up, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. And we got also got a guest coming, Michael DeVoe, coming up later in the show, and Carissa Holland, and also joining us here, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends, jumping in here. And Jimmy, let's keep the show rolling. We're going to bring everybody on the screen and keep the show rock and rolling here. We got C. Marty Fit joining us from Maryland, the Black on Black with the red headset. Johnny's sneezing his way onto camera.
Well done, Johnny. Great timing.
That was a big one, and that thing came out of nowhere.
Oh no! Is that brown, Marty?
This is bright. Hey, I need you to learn your colors, man. Yeah, you gotta learn your colors, Keith.
I got sunglasses on, so I only see shades.
You're 52.
That's brown.
52. You got to know that the basic
Don't
colors,
blame the
man.
glasses.
We got Flynn in black. We got Marty with the brown cigar, and of course we got Richie Rich coming up here, Jimmy, in the green, beautiful, almost camouflage t-shirt here today. So good morning, guys. Good morning, girls. What's going on here today? It's another day in the loop here. It's Thursday, December 5th. Big show. We're going to get into the Strava 2024 year in review. I was thinking about you, Richie, when I put that on the table. And we're going to get into men's perceptions of female genitals. Yeah, we're talking about that here today as well. That's going to be that's the conversation I know that we all want to have. And we're going to talk a little about loneliness time during the holidays, why we might need that. And yes, that segues from female genitalia to loneliness time. And of course, we're digging into relationship transformations here today. And I think we're going to talk relationship transformations as we go in the show, but maybe we'll leave that to hour 2 here when Marty's off lifting some weights, working on building his relationship.
Let's call it that.
Is that what you're doing every day at Gold's Gym?
I wish that's all I was doing. Oh, let me show y'all what happened last night, man.
Yeah, show us what happened last night, Marty.
Man, I get a text. I was about to go to bed, and running the gym is something else.
Yeah.
Somebody messed up the boxing. Somebody messed up the boxing bag. They cut it in half.
What?
Yeah,
Why?
the boxing bag.
Who's got time for that?
Steroids.
I'm not sure.
Steroids.
So soon as I walk in, I got a lot of shit to deal with. But yeah. So.
Oh man, that's craziness.
Crazy.
Hey, so Strava, we all know Strava, the big fitness platform. Jimmy, we're gonna throw this up on screen here.
Never heard of that.
So Strava is a big connected fitness platform, Marty. They're all about the data side of things. Richard, do you use Strava?
Okay.
No,
You don't use Strava? No, you don't. Honest to God, no.
I don't have
Old
the
school
Strava. I
like Johnny,
deleted it.
man.
Oh yeah, you're familiar with it, eh, Rich?
Oh yeah, I'm very familiar with it. It's one other fucking social media app that you got to keep up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, true story. Flynn, you're familiar with Strava?
Consumes your time.
Yep.
Yeah. Johnny's not because he doesn't have a fax machine. So, well, I want to ask Johnny that question.
Well, you know what's going on? Whatever's going on here is so bad. I literally have not picked up a fucking word anybody's talking about. We're talking about something. I have no idea what it is. And the crazy part was I was in another podcast yesterday on Yardstream, and I didn't have this problem. So we got to get Jimmy digging into what's going on here, baby.
Yeah, so I don't think it's Jimmy just because we're all good here, Johnny. So something's going on your end there where we're having some challenges. I'm suspecting. Luke Skywalker, I see you there in the comments. This is a morning show for the only morning show to help you get your ass out of bed for men and women. We're here to talk about good topics, audacious goal topics, accountability topics. Right now, we're talking about Strava's 2024 year in review. And 135 million humans use the Strava platform, and they did a survey, guys. And they're looking at their audience to say, hey, what are humans curious about? What is taking what's most important to the Strava users? And I loved the results here. Richie, Marty, Jimmy, Johnny, Frillin, rest and recovery take center stage. Yeah. So 135 million people are saying to themselves that resting and recovery are very important to them as they go into 2025.
So how are they coming up with that?
They surveyed 135 million of their users.
Is that their entire user base, or that's who responded to the survey?
I think it's their entire user base. And what they did is they logged stats from the platform. So over 20% of logged workouts were under 20 minutes, right? So you think about all the data that they have, right? So anybody who's connecting into Strava, they showed that marathon prep 51% of the days in the 16 weeks before, Richie, were rest days, highlighting that Strava users were focusing more on recovery. So these numbers were more based on results instead of what people were anticipating. So when they looked back at the last year, they found that rest and recovery took center stage. When they looked at 2024, 72% of run goals that people stated were met in 24. Suggesting that they are prioritizing rest enhances performance. So the story here is that over 20% of the folks that were running under 20 minutes, 51% of folks that were running over 16 weeks, was allowing 72% of the folks that were meeting their marathon goals. In other words, rest and recovery is working for folks. Rich,
for folks that don't know about Strava, can you just give a quick overview, or maybe Richie from your end of it, how you used it, so folks in our audience can know?
Yeah, so Strava is social media for basically cardio enthusiasts. I mean, you can also, if you have a Garmin, every one of your workouts is going to be uploaded. So your strength workout, your cycling workout. So if you're running in groups, your group workouts are up there, and then people can comment on them, like your posts. So it's social media for athletes. And it does offer some pretty good statistics as well. But studies like this, any study, I'm always hesitant or reluctant to follow. So one, a marathon training plan is generally 16 weeks, right? So you're telling me that in 16 weeks before they even start, of course, 51% of them are rest days because they hadn't even started their marathon training plan.
No, Richie, hold on. So this is not a study. This is the results of. So this is 135 million users over the last year. This is the net results of the stats. So they've looked at all the results of their 135 million users, and what the story is telling them that out of all of the minutes that were logged, 20% of them were under 20 minutes. 51% of folks that were doing 16 weeks were resting more, which what the story is suggesting is that 72% of run goals were met in 2024, suggesting that all the people that were resting were achieving their goals. Right. So these are actually these aren't surveys. These are actual results of their usage stats.
So I'm going to go back to this. I'm very reluctant on any kind of data without me observing it first myself, because you can make the data say anything. But that's awesome. That's awesome that they're saying that, because I do.
And again, keep in mind, this is the results of their users, right? So this is all their. So this is the data that somebody's. So this is nobody's selecting answers. This is just the app tracking. So what they've seen is that carbon plate shoes, like folks that are talking what they're wearing, 14% surge in folks that are running, right? They're showing that top ultra runners are leading the way with their carbon place footwear. They're talking about the sock debate. They talk about age is just a number. They showed that their usage patterns are runners aged 44 and older outpace their younger generations. And they also showed that female runners dominate Strava, right? So on the platform, 20% were more likely to claim us. And I find this interesting, Flynn, because I think females tend to do more social physical fitness activities than men probably do, especially in Richie, you and I talked about it yesterday, right? We're like, I don't want to fucking go run with people, where I think you look at Peloton's a very high female, 2/3 of their users are female as well. And then Richie, it also shows that Garmin was the forerunner choice for all Strava users. And they also
they dominate the market. But look, you have some that are up and comers. Koros is one, and there's a couple others. Sunto, I think, is making a comeback, but I'm a Garmin guy. They just came out with the new Enduro watch, Enduro 3, and it's cheaper than the previous version. It's amazing. I found this one interesting too. 9% growth in ultra events, and I find this is interesting to me. So what they're showing is that out of all their Strava users, 9% of the users are registering in ultra events, the stuff that you do, Richie. So I found that quite fascinating as well. And the other point that they find here is that there's just a much more balanced approach to fitness than what we have traditionally been talking about over the years. So Strava 2024 year in review. We'll have that sitting up here later on our site here. There is their 2024 year in review, 135 million users. What were the results of all their data? What I find interesting about it too, Flynn and I were talking about this off air, because Strava sits in the middle of the fitness ecosystem. Like you can connect your Peloton to it, you can connect your Garmin to it, you can connect your Apple Watch to it, you can connect your Google Health to it. And
for now.
Yeah, and we know there's all these different fitness ecosystems that are all out there, right? Well, Strava has just said, well, maybe we all can't connect to me anymore. So it's interesting. You're seeing a big data shift happening in the world, and I think one of the reasons, actually, my prediction is the new president of Peloton is a former president of Apple Fitness. So if I'm running Peloton and I'm looking at the big dog over there, I'm thinking, hey, I know how I can drive my business up by going to sell it over there. But anyways, there's my
shit just got better. I'm actually able to hear a little bit of this conversation for the
there we go.
He needed a magic wand, so that was probably it.
That's it.
It's still choppy, but I can piece it together now.
So Johnny ran the router through the bidet. I'm going to run the conversation through the accountability check-in. I'm sorry, that was an underrated joke, Flynn. I know.
That actually wasn't too bad. For the little night.
It wasn't. It flowed at least.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not a fan of that one. You've had better jokes.
I see Thanks, Marty.
Marty's always keeping it real.
I finally got fucking approval from Marty in my jokes. I've been trying since May.
No, I said I'm not a fan of that one.
Oh, you're not a fan.
You've had better jokes. You've had better.
Yeah, he didn't like that one.
You've had
Marty's a tough one to get through. He doesn't.
Not today. Not today.
He has an expectation for your joke making that
exactly
you have not been able to meet on a consistent basis.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
You know what? When I first met Keith, all his jokes were pretty cool. You know, I approved of every joke. And then
that's how August, he put all the good ones on the table. It's all over now.
But that's just the honeymoon phase.
Yeah, August, September, it just turned into. I don't know where that came from.
There's a correlation between you and Keith?
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't think about that, Flynn.
No, come on. No, Marty's my brother, man. Marty going anywhere. No. I'm gonna keep trying to tell jokes until I keep getting permission from Marty.
It's good content. You selling shitty jokes.
Yeah, the first day I showed up on this show, man, I was like, now this is not the fucking Odd Couple. I love it. Who's this little nutty fella? And I got this cool cat sitting in the background just trying to hold it together when this other dude's making a fool of himself. This is an interesting dynamic.
That's exactly Marty's role, to hold this shit together, because all I hear Jimmy from time to time is, you see Marty's expression? Yeah, I saw Marty's expression. He's like, oh yeah, Marty's going to give you this expression. I go, I know that's going to be the expression from Marty. All right, we got Carissa Holland and hanging out, and she's got some dude sitting next to her. I don't know, Flynn, who invited the dude? I didn't invite the dude. I didn't invite the dude. I did not invite the dude. We only invited Carissa Holland into the show, so I don't know how the dude shows up. But anyways, there's a dude next to Carissa. Good thing is we're talking relationships here on the show today. So Carissa Holland, I met her up on Threads, the Instagram world. Hey, listen, if you're on Threads, come find me. You and the other three people. But listen, let's get into it. The accountability check-in, Jimmy. I think I got to take the sunglasses off. This is a serious one. Yeah. All right. So most people, you, me, all of us, we don't struggle with expressing love. No, baby. Nope. We struggle with expressing what's missing. Why? Well, because it's just easier to avoid the hard conversations than to admit that you've fallen into patterns that just aren't working. It's easier to focus on what you're doing wrong than to look at how you've been showing up. So I invite you to consider this. The next time you're with your partner, a team member, or even a close friend, ask them this. What's one thing you need more from me right now? What is it? What's the one thing you need more from me? And here's the hard part. Don't defend. Don't explain. Don't justify. Just use those two things on the side of your head. They're called ears. Yeah, just use those. And listen. It's one of the simplest and most uncomfortable ways to practice accountability in your relationships. Listen, love doesn't fix everything, baby. Nope. But listening, owning your part, communicating, and actually changing, that's where the transformation begins. So, when's the last time you leaned in and you asked this question? And more importantly, ask yourself this. Are you ready? Are you ready for the answer? Are you ready for the answer, Jimmy? The accountability check-in. This morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. All right, so we're going to pivot. We're going to pivot here, Jimmy. We're going to get up the center stage segment. We're not bringing up Chris yet, Jimmy. Nope, not yet. No, not yet. Nope. We're going to do this instead here. We're going to, hi, Marty. Hi, Richie. What's going on?
What up? Are you taking us off the screen?
Oh, I'm not taking you off the screen. No, that's Jimmy taking the screen. Yeah, Jimmy's. I'm like, you can't bring up Chris yet here because we got to set them up, guys. We got to set the show up here. So here we go. So we have somebody joining us here today. Is Johnny around? Is he in the bay? Is he over in the bidet there right now?
He's still in the bathroom.
There we go. All right, yeah, let's do it. Okay, so listen, we have Carissa Holland joining us here on the show. Chris, you're noticing a brand new presentation to the show here. An elite mindset and fitness coach, discovering how to break limiting beliefs, aligning purpose, becoming relentless with Carissa Holland, the CEO of Kenosis Massage and Elite Mindset. She's one half, Marty, Richie, of the relentless couple with a relentless approach, elite mindset coaching, fitness, nutrition guidance, purpose alignment, and all about breaking limiting beliefs. We love how we get into limiting beliefs here on the show. Identifying limitations, challenging beliefs, replacing with empowering mindsets, working on building your exceptional life with a holistic wellness approach. Connect to become your relentless self with our guest here today. Jimmy, let's bring her up. Carissa Holland. There she is. And only on the screen because they're not on the screen.
What's up, Carissa?
There you are. How are you, Carissa?
I'm doing great, Keith. How are you doing?
I'm awesome. Thank you. And who's the very, very handsome young man next to you?
This would be my husband. Seeing as how we're talking about relationships, I brought the other co-founder of the Relentless Couple.
I figured that
show and tell.
That would be the case. Good to have you both here on the show.
On, brother? How you doing?
Good morning.
Now wait a second here. You got to understand. I have deep roots with these two.
I know you do, Anderson. Get into it, brother. How do you know him, Johnny?
Yeah, this is a treat for me. Yeah, these two right here are just flat out an amazing set of people. Point blank. End of story. You know, I
love that.
Yeah, we work together, you know, and they just they've just developed into these, like, they're so beyond clients. They're just full-blown friends. It's amazing.
Oh, I love that. I love that, Johnny. So I connected with Carissa and I'm sorry, Chris, is it Doug? No.
Tyler.
So yeah, Chris, I connected with Chris and Tyler on Threads there as one of my first connections, and then they connected with me and saw the stuff that we're doing, and one of them said, "Hey, yeah, we're good friends with Johnny Anderson," and I was like, it melted my heart as well. And I'm thinking to myself, not sure why you're good friends with Johnny Anderson, but then I got to know the guy. I'm like, okay, I know why you love Johnny Anderson. So, Johnny, why don't you throw the question on the table to your friends that we like to ask everybody on the morning show?
Well, you're going to have a treat when I ask this question, but first off, it's crazy. It just shows you how I show up every morning to the show with no idea what's coming at me, because I had no idea these guys were coming. I would have been so excited for this show. Holy shit. Anyway, so the question we ask everyone, and you guys are going to love this because these guys have a ripping answer, is what is your morning routine?
Oh, I don't know if you guys are ready for this, but
that's exactly right. Listen, this is coming down the pipe hard, so everybody get ready.
We're pretty hardcore. We're up at 2:50 in the morning. We get up, we put up an inspiration post for our community. We sit down, have our breakfast, we do a little bit of reading, and then we're in the gym by 3:45 in the morning, and we bust out about an hour of working out and then have a coffee date from there. That's our connection time in the morning.
I just got to put cheers on that. That's so. Here's the next question: what time do you guys go to bed?
Well, ideally, Tyler wants to be in bed at 8:30.
That would be ideal, but it never happens.
Closer to 9.
Yeah. I saw. We're talking transformation couples here today with couples, but Tyler, I got to admit, I saw a transformation image of yourself. You have had an incredible. Yesterday we talked body transformation. Tyler, you have had a transformative journey yourself with your own body. Tyler.
Yeah, I have. I've been on and off the fitness wagon for quite a few years, but I was in management in the oil field here in Alberta, and that kind of took precedence, or I let it take precedence over my fitness for quite a few years. So I got in a pretty poor shape. Yeah, and I was just about 40 when I decided that I should really do something about it. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how much money you make. If you have a heart attack, you can't spend it, right? So, so that's when we got the wagon back on its tracks again, and things have been going pretty good from there.
No kidding. Did you say you're in Alberta?
Yeah, you bet.
I'm in Manitoba. I'm in Winnipeg.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, where are you guys in Alberta? Calgary, Edmonton, Red Deer, or are you Fort McMurray? Where are you at?
Well, we're just north of Edmonton, about 45 minutes on a farm here.
Okay. Oh, fantastic. Has Johnny been up there to see you guys?
Not yet.
Oh, we're all going to have a reunion with Johnny.
But I got to say, I'm just so excited that you guys are here today. This is amazing. These guys are, in terms of clients, right? Yeah. I mean, granted, we still have that relationship, but we've just, this beautiful friendship has been born, and it's like way deep. I mean, I'm so excited they're here. You guys are
real quick.
Marty,
can y'all move a little closer together, because we can't see you in the frame on the vertical.
Yeah,
thanks, Marty. Is that better?
That's better. Yeah, that's
excellent.
better. Thank you. Sorry. Go ahead, Keith.
Thanks, Marty. So, Johnny, maybe let's let you lead this with Carissa and Tyler. We're here talking couple relationships, and we're talking relationships and couples. Johnny, when you look at Carissa and Tyler, they train together, they live together, they work out together, they have a business together. Based on your experience, knowing them and so forth, where do we take this? Where do we take our short conversation with them today, Johnny?
Well, I mean, I think when it comes down to it, I mean, our belief system is so similar. Like the stuff that we talk about, like, you know, when I'm always talking about, we need to respond rather than react. I mean, this is all stuff that they practice, they do. I mean, I'm a busy dude. So, and they are too, for that matter. So, but we literally have a phone call. We schedule a phone call so we can literally catch up for at least an hour every month, because our conversations are so amazing. Yeah. And we're talking about everything from, relationships to belief. And because what it comes down to is there's not enough, we don't have enough people around us, in the direct, like it geographically. So obviously we have to connect with the people and stay connected with the people that are like-minded. So it's easier for us to all grow when we're all talking the same language and doing the same shit. And so relationship wise, I mean, they're, of course we're all growing, but I mean, they're just like, when we talk about, I can't remember an example specifically. I'm sure they can give you one, but just how they recognize when one of them is a little off. I think, actually, to be totally honest, I think Carissa's probably leads that pack, because she's just been, her growth has just been like off the charts. Like when we first started, we were talking about, hey, let's focus on the stuff we can control. And it was like, I just said a few things, and she just took this whole, I mean, her growth has been like unbelievable. So anyway, long and short of it is, I think, why don't you guys talk a little bit? Shit, I'm sitting here all excited, can't even get my words out.
So we're here talking relationships today. Talk a little bit about, what's been transformative in your relationship with Tyler. You guys are obviously in business together. Fitness is a big part of it. I see your content. What's difficult about working together? What's difficult about doing fitness together? One of the big arguments, Carissa, is that unless both sides are in it, one side's not going to succeed.
Yeah, that's correct. Like, I actually don't find anything hard about doing the fitness and the nutrition and all of that together. It actually makes it so much easier that we're on the same journey. Yeah. What's leveled us up in this last year specifically is that what John said, being able to respond versus react, and like taking that step back when, you know, something goes sideways. I take it as, you know, if Tyler's upset, it's like he's throwing a softball at me. So I just catch it, breathe for a second, and then put it down, because I'm like, okay, I don't have to add gasoline to this fire. I can just say, maybe you need to revisit that, and either we circle back, or we have a conversation, or we take some space, and then we come back around, so that that isn't an inflammatory thing, which we used to do, but we've grown through that. So it's transformed how we interact with each other.
Oh, I love that, Carissa. One of the things we're going to talk about later on the show here is just mirroring your partner's actions, right? So when you say that Tyler is throwing a ball at you, you recognize, probably in the past, like myself with my partner, you're thinking that it's a fastball. But what you're doing is actually going, hold on a second, he's lobbing me a ball. He's giving me an opportunity to respond instead of react. Hard to do, isn't it, Carissa? And then Tyler, how do you respond knowing that Carissa has taken on an approach with you?
Well, this is a big thing for me, because I got a no fuse. So I would just want to explode immediately when it comes to everything. And then I was put into management when I was in my early 20s. So I'm used to people just having to listen to you.
When somebody says no to you, you freak out. Is that what you're saying?
Well, not so much somebody saying no, but let's say, you know, if I want to do something a certain way and then there's a different opinion, I'm like, well, what do you like? What do you think I'm wrong? But it's not that I'm wrong. It's that there's more than one way to skin a cat, right?
Yes.
So because I was in management at such a young age, I had this thing where everybody should just shut up and listen to me, when that's not how it works when you're in a relationship. Like a loving relationship, you can go back and forth and come up with a middle ground, right?
Yes.
So when lots of times Carissa will say to me, like, do I deserve that? And then it'll catch me in my tracks. And I'll be like, well, no, she doesn't. So I got to, like, you know, regroup, think about it. And then we go again. Right. So
that's a courageous question, Carissa, to ask your partner in the moment, because that I can think, Richie, Johnny, Marty, like I can think that response the reciprocal response could be potentially negative. Do I deserve?
But you got to remember, though, just like you got to remember, like, you know, I talk about Terry and I being really honest with each other. They are the epitome of that. They will be honest with each other because they love each other, because they know it's their duty to be honest with one another about every situation. And it's a hard thing for people to grasp a hold of. But when you truly love someone, it's your duty to be honest, and they live that.
Yeah, I love that. Carissa, Tyler, as we got you guys for a short segment here today, we'll bring you back for another segment here in the coming days. Where can folks connect with the Relentless couple? How can folks find you? How can folks work with you? And what's some parting advice you'd want to leave our audience with when it comes to relationships and so forth?
So we are absolutely the most active on Instagram. You can find us at the.relentless.couple. And anybody that's from this morning show can send us a DM saying Keith, and we have a free habit tracker that we can give them as a gift for coming and interacting with our page if they follow us. But that's the best way to work with us, is just send us a message. Tyler and I are the people behind the messages, talking to you at all times. And the best advice I always give everybody about relationships is every moment is an opportunity to show up and learn more about yourself, but also be there for your partner. And sometimes when your partner's struggling, you know, it's my job to step up for Tyler to have that space to work through whatever he's going through. And he gives me the same honor as well. What's your advice?
That's the advice that I would give too. The biggest thing is just always making sure that you're there for your partner, and taking a second to think about maybe what's happening in the situation instead of responding or instead of reacting. Take the chance to think about it for a second and then respond.
Ty's got a really good saying that he always says to me. He's like, I love you harder on your hard days than on the easy days.
Yeah. And then I'll always run towards you instead of away from you. Yeah. Right. Like when there's a fight, I'm going to run into the fight.
Powerful stuff, you guys. That's awesome.
Yeah. And real quick, I want to put a quick endorsement of that. What these guys are doing, what their clients is fucking amazing. So if you guys are looking for a good coach, you got to hit these guys up, man. I'm telling you, what they're doing on all levels. It's not just physical. We're talking transformation, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, the whole kit and caboodle. They got it going on.
What is it? What's the one thing, Johnny, that you say they got it going on? Is it just this idea of showing up and just this relentless approach to how they approach things, Johnny?
Well, I mean, that's like in the bag, and that's not even something that's on their they don't even register with that, because showing up is just a part of who they are. Their standard is to that point where remember we talked about standard. I think it was yesterday.
Yes.
your standard, maybe it was, forgive me, it was the standard is like, you don't hit the snooze, you don't do this, they got that nailed. So when I say that they're doing amazing stuff, we're talking about identifying, certain traits in people and helping them see that themselves. And I mean, some of the stuff, because we have fun talking about clients and some of the stuff that they've, Carissa can literally, actually, Tyler and I were talking about this. He was like, you know what? Carissa will talk to one of her clients and she'll kind of see something. And I'm done questioning her because pretty much what she spots seems to always come true. So they're coaching beneath the skin. That's the best way to put it.
I love it.
And it's powerful shit.
Johnny, thanks for those kind words. Tyler, Carissa, thanks for joining us here today, Mornings on the Lab. We guys come back and hang out with us again sometime, and keep tuning in on Instagram and Threads. And Tyler, Carissa, admittedly, that is our weak spot in our social outreach, so we're going to keep pushing on there. So all the support you keep giving to us and myself and Johnny and Marty and Richie on that platform is very much appreciated. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you guys today.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate y'all.
Fellow Canadians, go Jets, go. Don't go Oilers, don't go Flames, go Jets, go, right?
This guy.
Yeah.
Exactly it. All right. Tyler,
so good to see you guys. What a treat for me.
Good to see you too, John.
Oh man, I guess I show up to this show. I told Keith from the jump, I don't want, because there's this whole thing is planned out. I don't want anything. Everything for me is on the fly, hot, boom, 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 totally organic. So for you guys to pop up on the screen, I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. So what a treat. I'm telling you, what a treat for me today.
I love it.
So good to see you guys.
I love it. All right, guys, Marty's up for the fit tip. Michael DeVoe Jr., we see you coming up here in 90 seconds. Get after it, Marty.
Let's get it, man. All right, we got the fitness tip for today. So this one, another heavy hitter. I've been doing all heavy hitters this week. So let's get into it, man. You can find an excuse or you can find a reason to go harder. But you got to remember at the same time, if you look for a BS excuse, you're going to find a BS excuse. So understand everyone has obstacles. So whether it's time, energy, life circumstances, whatever, right? What's going to make you a winner is how do you respond to that, right? So a lot of people, for instance, will say, I got kids, I can't go to the gym. So one, if you do go to the gym and you become fit and you have fitness goals, you're making yourself a better parent than all the parents who don't. And what you also need to realize is it's a lot of parents that go to the gym. There's a high percentage of parents in the gym with kids under 18, right? And a lot of people do it with work. I saw a video yesterday. I'll be responding to that soon on my social media. A guy said, I got a 9 to 5. I can't go to the gym as well. Well, guess what? Gyms cost money. People got to pay their membership. So guess what? They have 9 to 5s too. They have jobs. They have businesses. They go to work as well. So understand that you can use it as motivation to separate yourself, but you're not the only one. We're all in this together. It's uncomfortable for all of us. It's not easy for all of us. Everyone is making a sacrifice to better their health and make their life longer. All right? So we only get one life. Make the most out of it. Don't sit around looking for BS excuses. Get your ass in the gym and step it up. That's the fitness tip for today.
Get your ass in the gym and step it up with C Marty Fit. The C Marty Fit tip every day here.
Yes, sir.
What's up, Richie? What's up, Marty? All right, Jimmy, we got our next guest coming up here on the show here. We got somebody who's transforming fear into fuel. Yeah, he helps leaders and teams harness fear as a catalyst for growth and authenticity. He's all about his mission, guys. It's all about unlocking potential, empowering leaders, and making a difference. Yeah, fifth quarter consulting, motivational speaking, and do some podcasting. Hey, Ryan Sullivan, got a podcaster over here. Not a live show guy. No, it does podcasts. The Ascend Hub. He's all about exclusive community, accelerating growth, and launched in spring of 2024. Michael's journey, entertainment career, personal growth, and all about sharing wisdom from a core philosophy of fear being your ally, just like we talk about here in the lab. Run towards your fear. All about authenticity, most importantly, the trait of the modern man, being vulnerable. You can connect with Michael, clear plan, real success. You can connect with them over on LinkedIn as well. Today, we are going to welcome to the lab our new friend, Michael DeVoe Jr. What's up, Michael?
Morning, everybody. Oh my gosh. I've been up since 5 a.m. getting this face ready to meet y'all. And that relentless couple and what you guys are doing. I'm like, y'all are all about fitness. And I'm like, I'm fitness of the mind and the heart, but I'm like, ooh, I better get my game ready.
Oh, I love it. Hey, but that's okay, Michael, because I'll tell you something. We believe this, my friend. Yes, we believe in the gym. Yes, we believe in physical fitness, but I believe, Johnny believes, Marty believes, Flynn believes, producer Jimmy believes. It all starts in the mind. It all starts in the heart. That's how you build the big, strong muscles.
Amen. One of the things that the couple said, you mentioned it, I think in the intro also, the couple said, I run towards you. And I think that's kind of like what I do in terms of fear. I invite you to run towards your fears, and in doing so, you're running towards loving yourself, which I think is valuable and important. So
talk about that. So talk about the idea of running towards failure, Michael, and running towards fear. We talk about here in the lab all the time. I hate running. Yet every Monday and Friday, I go run because I hate it. Right. And, and I know Marty does his things you hate, and Johnny does his things you hate, and so does Richie. But talk about why running towards failure is so important, Michael.
I think, okay, so for me, my life was filled with a lot of tragic moments and a bunch of failures. I mean, a ton of failures. And I was doing something I thought everybody was doing, right? I mean, we all do this, right? We grow up thinking, didn't everybody just do it this way? And I was literally moving towards those things that scared me. I was moving towards the failures and getting on the other side of them. And what I discovered was the best version of you that you could possibly be is on the other side of fear. And if you can run towards that, you're going to discover some amazing things about yourself. And I just learned at 52, I learned how to begin to give that back to everybody.
You learned at 52. So I'm 52. Johnny's 52. So it's funny because Richie's a couple years younger than us and Marty's a couple years younger than us.
A couple.
Don't age us, man.
Yeah, don't try to throw me and Richie up there, man. Let me and Richie enjoy our youth, man.
We are talking Monday. I know I'm going to die on Monday. Monday's show, Keith knows when he's going to die, but it's not going to be today. We're here talking with Michael DeVoe. Michael, what about somebody who's afraid of the idea of actually succeeding? You talk about running towards failure, and people are like, oh, what happens if I just might succeed? Because we always are worried about failing, Michael. What about inviting somebody to change that philosophy of, hey, what happens if you succeeded?
Well, it's interesting that you put that up there. Almost 9 times out of 10, especially when it comes to entrepreneurs and leaders, when they fear something, almost inevitably it's because of an idea of their self-worth and their self-value. So if they think I can't succeed, or I'm afraid of succeeding, it's because they don't believe they're worthy of that success, or they haven't done the work and put in the time to be worthy of that success. And you guys know, when you go to the gym, if you put the time in, you know what you're worthy of. If you put the time in, you know which weights you can go after when you're ready to add more, right? And if we're adding more to our plate, if we're taking on new challenges, if we're telling the universe that we want to do, have, or become. Yes.
Michael, real quick. Sorry,
yes.
You're muted on the horizontal stream.
I apologize.
You're good now. Go continue. Sorry about that.
Great. Thank you for reminding me. If you want to do have
Michael, since you were paused, I just want to back up something you were saying. The pursuit of fear and failure. When someone learns to do that, that might be one of the most transformative things a person can do. So I just got to back you up on that, man. That was powerful shit.
Thank you. I believe that as well. And one of the things that I said that I do say is, if you want to do, have, or become something greater than you are today, you've just announced to the universe that the current version of you is not enough. You've just opened the door for criticism from your mind and your future self to say, hey, you say you want to do this. You say you want to do, have, or become something better than you are today. The universe is going to say, great, here's the gold's gem of opportunity for you. Go pick up some weights and start getting to it. Here are all the opportunities and obstacles you're going to have to learn and grow into to become that version of you that you want to be. And there's an intense amount of fear involved in asking for those opportunities if you don't believe you're worthy of it.
And what's interesting about that, Michael, what comes up for me is the way that I was raised was tough love, right? And so I'm very hard on myself. So from a very young age, it didn't matter how much work I did, I was still saying, hey, that's not enough. That's not enough. And so when you're conditioned to think like that, I would think that's probably the clients you're going after, just like, hey man, we got to change this, because what you're doing, it is enough. Don't be scared to say that you are worthy of this success, because you are. And I think that's one of the things that I've struggled with is putting that worth on myself because of how I was conditioned at a young age.
Well, you're talking about two different mindsets, right? You're talking about the ambitious mindset of an entrepreneur, a fitness coach, a leader. They automatically have that, right? They already know that they're going to go after the big things, and that bar is always going to move, because once you achieve that bar, you're looking for the next thing, because it feeds that part of your soul. Then you got this other part that's been conditioned through nurturing, parenting, or your society that says, hey, you got to work harder. You're not doing enough. It's never going to be good enough. This part I would encourage you to temper a little. I think if you can exchange this with a bit more gratitude and graciousness for yourself, and I mean, we can be grateful for other people. We can show graciousness to other people. I invite you to do that for yourself. You need to spend at least one day a week, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, thanking yourself, patting yourself on the back, giving yourself some credit for the hard work that you put in. Because if you don't do that, by the way, your brain also notices. Your brain's marking this stuff down. It's taking notes, and it's going, he doesn't appreciate the hard work we do. I put all of this stuff up front for him and got him ready, and he doesn't care about it. He's not interested in it. He's moving on to the next thing. Well, I guess I won't put that up there anymore. I won't offer you those opportunities. So think about it in that scale, and I think you can begin to show yourself some compassion and some appreciation.
We're here talking with Michael Rodriguez, Mornington Live with Keith and friends here, 8 o'clock Eastern time with myself, Richie, Marty, Johnny, producer Flynn, and producer Jimmy here. Michael, one of the topics I wanted to throw on the stage today was perception and transformation, and moving towards we're talking about obviously transformation in love and transforming ourselves, but we're talking right now about self-belief and what we believe in, and looking in the mirror and our own self-beliefs and walking towards failure and so forth. Women look in the mirror and perceive their genitals different than men do.
Okay.
A recent study reveals that while most men view female genitals positively, women look at their genitals and don't face them very positively. Jimmy, let's put it on the screen here. Some recent research was done, guys. 212 men. Yeah, true story. Heterosexual men participated in the study, representing a diverse age group from 19 to 77, asking the question about how they viewed women's vaginas and women's genitalia. Men viewed it quite positively, where females viewed it not positively as well. Hey, Flynn, we should bring you on stage for this conversation, frankly. But, as we're talking about this, we got a bunch of guys on stage here. Guys, let's give the females listening right now.
Talking about women's genitalia. Let's go.
Guys, I'm just telling you, women, we like your genitalia. There's no need to go worrying about fixing the genitalia yet. Humans and these negative attitudes that are perpetuated towards women and their genitalia continue to perpetuate. Yet, men are like, nah, we're all good with it. Flynn, what's your comments on this?
Yeah, we talked about this. In media, we are shown one type of women's genitalia. It looks like one thing. And we know that everyone's is different. Every single person's is different. So if yours does not align with that one media representation, of course, it's going to give you an impression or make you feel like yours is not ideal, or it is not enough, or it is ugly, whatever it is that makes you feel that way. And that's very deep. We know that the impacts of media and what is shown to us and how we are socialized to think one thing, it deeply affects us. So I totally understand these challenges.
Gentlemen, comments? Marty, Johnny, Richie?
Oh, yeah, I love this one. This is funny. It's never too early in the morning to talk about vaginas, ladies and gentlemen.
I agree, 100%. I agree. And Michael, this is the only show you're going to find this conversation where we're talking about relationships and fitness and female vaginas.
I love it. Okay, so what's interesting, what you pointed out there, Christina, was that your relationship with your genitalia is brought to you at an earlier stage in your lives.
Yeah.
I was trying to think, when was the first time I saw a picture of a man's penis, or at the doctor's office, what a penis should look like, so that I could have something to compare it with.
Right.
And I never have. I'm thinking, I don't ever remember seeing anything. We don't study it. We don't examine it regularly. I mean, well, as teenagers, we examined it quite often, but that wasn't for the purpose of establishing a relationship with an understanding of my body in comparison to what was proper, good, or acceptable. You saw your dad's maybe, but that's about as far as it went. So our relationship is very truncated or weak. I don't know how to put that.
Yeah, I think when it comes to my kids, this is something that my wife and I talk a lot about because I grew up in a very incredibly Catholic household. So we didn't even I didn't know a vulva, the outside of that area was called a vulva until recently. I didn't know that the vagina was actually the inside. So like, that's how stark that is. And I know among my group of friends, I am not the only one. We mislabel these things and we weren't allowed to call them by their real names. So, and I know that I'm not the exception. I'm actually the norm. So when we are raised in an environment where we're not even allowed or given permission to label things as they are biologically, then yes, you develop a very strange relationship. And then going to Catholic school, the representation in the one book that showed one cervix and one set of ovaries and one vulva, if it didn't look like that, that's all you knew. That was your reference point until potentially a little bit older. And we saw this with a lot of men as well. The representation of circumcised versus uncircumcised penises is also very differentiating. So all of these things make an impact of like what is good and what is like beautiful and what is right versus what is wrong.
Well, the journey to self-discovery is often a very lonely road. As kids growing up into teenagers, and self-discovery is done in the privacy of a bedroom, and you're using media, entertainment, things that you may know from friends, magazines you may have given from another friend or whatever, reference points that aren't A, accurate, B, they're not applicable, and C, they're not coming from people you trust because it's hidden in secret. And when something's hidden in secret, it carries a lot of potential for shame and misunderstanding.
And we're giving folks a brand new platform, Michael DeVoe, to discover their genitalia and topics like this on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. The only morning show to men to get their ass out of bed, get started, get their face on, get to the gym, and think about what they're going to do with their own genitalia or somebody else's genitalia here.
Keep it clean. Keep it clean. Exactly. That's what I say.
Hey, Michael, work in business, Athlete Nation, find you, work in the world, find you. How can folks connect with Michael DeVoe?
I'm super active on LinkedIn, michaeldevujr.com, mdevujr.com. You can go to the Fearless Road. michaeldevujr.com is my website. Fearless Road is the other one, which is both my podcast or the Fearless Thinking podcast. Awesome. So you can find me there or on Facebook and Instagram, but mostly on LinkedIn.
We connected over on LinkedIn about a week and a half ago, and this goofy live dude doing this crazy shit, and you're like, what's going on over there? Any first impressions or thoughts on our live morning show that you've just been exposed to in the last
Well, first of all, the fact that you said it was every day in the morning and you were committed to going live, that level of commitment and consistency is something I can completely appreciate. That is something I strive for. Yeah. I'm not good at, but I strive for. So in honor of that, I was like, I got to meet him where he's at and be there. So
I appreciate that. Well, I appreciate you. Hey, what's going on, Joel Fontana? Good morning, Adam. Michael, you have yourself a great day, my friend. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in the LinkedIn feeds, and come back and hang with us again sometime, will you?
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
And keep connecting with us, okay? All right, Michael's going to get out of here.
Nice, Marcus.
We're going to keep the show rolling here. We got AJ Zeglin waiting for us in the green, and we're going to talk about loneliness and why it's important during the holiday season. We just went from female genitalia, male genitalia, to the lifestyle tip coming up to loneliness and what you can do with your own genitalia. But before we do that, Johnny, you got something to say, brother?
Come on. All right, the holidays are here, and most of us struggle with getting through the holidays, making good choices. So here's the thing. What we have to remember is what we think about is what we're going to get more of. So really be intentional about thinking about the reasons you should do what you need to do, rather than the reasons that you shouldn't. If you think about the reasons why you should stay with your plan or stay with your exercise or stay with whatever it is you're trying to stay with, you're going to come up with reasons to do it. If you're constantly thinking about reasons why you shouldn't stay on track, you're going to come up with reasons why you shouldn't. So be very, very careful, especially during the holidays, because what we think about is what we're going to get more of. Rock and roll.
John Anderson, Mornings in the Lab, dropping some lifestyle tips for you here today. We got AJ Zeglin joining us here right now with our Mind Fuel. What's going on, Mr. Zeglin?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Awesome. Hey, you missed the chat a few minutes ago. We were talking about how females view their genitalia and how men view female genitalia. Any comments on that, Mr. Zeglin?
I did catch it as soon as I logged on. It's actually the first thing that I heard. So,
would you care to offer any points of view on the conversation about our views on women's genitalia, Mr. Zeglin?
You know what? I don't really know if I really have that strong of opinion on it. I would kind of dare to say that everyone's got their own relationship with their own bodies, and I would imagine that just in my own experience, and obviously I've been married for 15 years. I'm together with my wife for almost 20 years. Just seeing the relationship that she's had with her body over the years and how it's changed through going through 2 pregnancies, going through surgeries, going through cancer treatment, going through whatever. Her relationship with her body is constantly in flux all the time, genitalia and everything else, right?
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of highs and lows in there, like a lot of relationships. So yeah, I think it's that's an interesting stat that you showed, interesting topic, and I would just think
I find it's unfortunate, isn't it, AJ? Because we have the females that are struggling with that when men are like, no, we actually don't mind. It's actually okay, right? So, anyways, AJ, let's get into the importance of alone time during the holidays. I dropped you some stats last night from a recent survey. A recent survey, gentlemen, reveals that 56%. Joe Fontana, I see you there, brother. I'm happy to have you here today. No loneliness happening here right now, brother. A new survey reveals that 56% of Americans consider adequate alone time is crucial for mental health. AJ, yet 46% struggle to find it during the winter holidays. Let's throw this on the screen here, Jimmy. Let's talk about why alone time is so difficult to find during the holidays and why people are desiring more of it. And what are some of the benefits, AJ?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they struggle to find it at that time of the year just because we have lots of expectations placed on us in the different roles that we play in our life, right? You're a father, a dad, a brother, a cousin, a nephew, whatever, and you're in that time of season that's kind of centers around the family unit. And everyone only has a finite amount of time over those holidays to try to get all their stuff in and see everybody. So I think there's a lot of expectation and pressure being put on people to make sure that they do their rounds and they see everyone and they fulfill all their social responsibilities, Yeah. And so, that's my guess as to where the pressure comes in and why they don't find enough. The one kind of positive that I actually drew from that study, though, is that if people are looking for that alone time, that generally means that they have a pretty good relationship with themselves, right?
Yes.
If you're alone with yourself and you have a good relationship with yourself, we would call that solitude, right? If you're alone with yourself with a poor relationship with yourself, we would call that loneliness. And they're really, two of the same thing. You're both spending time with yourself. If you got a great relationship with yourself, it's this peaceful solitude that we can enjoy and become energized and refreshed and feel very fulfilled. And if we're alone with ourselves and we feel like we don't have a great relationship with ourselves, it could just perpetuate this, negative cycle of loneliness where we feel like we're just dropping deeper and deeper and deeper in a hole.
Yeah. I found what was also interesting, AJ, was the demographics. Jimmy, throwing demographics up here of the holiday alone time, which only 38% of seniors report reduced holiday alone time, which would make sense, right? Because all of us younger folks are striving to see our adult, our grandparents and our parents, and then income patterns. Middle-aged income earners were most successful at maintaining alone time. And then ethnic differences. The study reveals a noticeable disparity, AJ, with 50% of people of color reporting insufficient holiday alone time compared to 43% of white respondents. So I find those stats quite interesting when you look across age, income, and ethnic differences, AJ.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you look at our social responsibilities and how we kind of function as a giant family unit within our community, I think a lot of those factors probably influence, how much time we spend alone and how much time we spend with other people, right?
Yeah. How about some tips for finding time alone, AJ?
Yeah, I mean, just like anything else, if we determine that's important to us and we've prioritized it, then it becomes one of our non-negotiables, right? And we might have to be a little bit flexible when we get it in. Maybe that means you got to get up 20 minutes earlier than you normally do, to have some alone time.
Yeah.
I'd be curious too to see what length of time that they're using to categorize alone time, right? Like, are these people looking for 15 or 20 minutes to have some kind of mindfulness time on their own? Or are these people looking for like a whole day with no contact with anybody? That might determine. I would argue that
What
you
would
could
you
have
recommend to somebody? So I
Yeah.
come going, I'm feeling pretty busy right now, AJ. I need some alone time. What are you saying, Bilous? Go find yourself 20 minutes, go find yourself an hour. What are you recommending to somebody going, my brain's too busy, man. I need to go find some solitude.
Yeah. I would recommend anywhere from about 15 to 20 minutes can be extremely, extremely effective, right?
Yeah.
So again, you schedule that in to your day with your other non-negotiables, and there's sacrifices to be made to make sure that we uphold social relationships that we're trying to do. So it might look different. Maybe we can't have it in the middle of the day when we like to, but maybe we can, like I said, get up 15 minutes earlier and have it first thing in the morning and make it part of our morning routine, or make it part of our routine before we go to sleep at night, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's a priority to you, then you schedule it in and you have that structure where you're like, hey, over the holidays, this is when I do this. Just like all the other stuff we talk about. And sometimes you could combine those things, right? Maybe your alone time over the holidays is going to the gym, making sure now you're kind of like doubling up, right? Not only are you getting all the benefits of the exercise, but you're also having this alone time for 40 minutes or an hour when you're working out, right? And you're with yourself. So there's lots of different ways that could look like.
Well, and Richie, that's your solitude, right? Going for a run, right? Richie?
Yeah, part of it. I mean, no music, no nothing. You just in your head, man, getting right. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, Jim.
Yeah,
Johnny.
I mean, the most important work that a person does is on themselves, and you're not doing that when you're doing that work on yourself. Being by yourself is a huge advantage. It's like for me, getting up early in the morning, that's the time that I can do it, because once the world wakes up, I'm going to get distracted. I'm not going to be able to focus on myself. Now, granted, the gym time is great also, but I only really get that. Like Rich is saying, he's out on the road. He's by himself. In the gym, it's very difficult to have that unless you're in your own space, which sometimes I have that. But the foolproof way for me to make sure that I have my alone time, which is where I get to develop as a person, is first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I think that little piece, whether it's 5 minutes or whether it's 2 hours, I think that piece of our lives needs to be a non-negotiable.
The whole point of this show, when I look at the team on this show, like that is, look at Carissa and Tyler, right? Like they're getting about 2:15 in the morning. Hey, AJ, we met some folks in Alberta who are on the show this morning. They start their day at 2:15, 2:45, 2:15, I think it was, right? Yeah. 2:15. They're in the gym for 3:45, but they're that whole morning, priority, right? So,
right.
Marty, how do you find loneliness in a busy time of the holidays? I'm sorry. How do you find alone time? Sorry.
First, this person of color here got his alone time during the holidays. We're gonna throw that because of the stat that you put up.
Yeah.
I got my alone time, but
nice. Yeah.
But AJ said it. You got to plan it. I'm big on schedule. I'm big on structure. I'm big on routine, consistency. So I plan my alone time, and I'm also an only child, so that helps. I don't have kids. I don't have a wife, so that does help.
Yes.
But I have a lot of people pulling on me, trainer, general manager. I got a lot of shit going on, phone always going off. So I do have to plan my alone time. That's the best way for me.
Yeah. And there's and AJ, I know you got to rock and roll here. I love that you pointed out, and I'm sorry that I didn't put the visual on screen, but I love you pointed out between solitude and loneliness, right? Yeah. Because many of us enjoy the solitude of being in our own head or being alone, and people are like, oh, that guy's alone all the time. No, actually he's pretty content, right, AJ?
Absolutely. Yeah. It all comes down with that relationship with yourself, right? So it's kind of interesting, but you're really I forget who said it. It might have been Viktor Frankl, or don't quote me on that. I shouldn't throw a name out there because I can't attribute it to the proper person. But it's you're never alone because you're always with yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's essentially what it is. So if you got a great relationship with yourself, that time alone can be really meaningful, right? And add a lot of value to your life.
Yes. All right, AJ, I know you got to rock and roll, brother. We're going to look forward to not being alone tomorrow. Myself, Lauren, AJ, and Melissa are going over for dinner on Saturday, not tomorrow, Friday. We're going to go for dinner. We're going to hang out with AJ here in Winnipeg. Marty, nice. Johnny, Richie might throw on the airplane, come hang out with us and go join dinner sometime with us. But there we go. AJ, what's on the agenda today, pal?
You know what? I'm actually homesick today. I'm a little bit under the weather, so I took the day off the gym today because I didn't want to make everyone else at the gym sick. I got this little bit of a cold I've been fighting since I got home from the trip. So I took the morning off, sleep in a little bit, So I just got out of bed like 30 minutes ago, which is very rare for me. I've usually been up for a couple hours already when I talk to you guys. So just hanging out, trying to relax and recover, and then go watch some hockey later on tonight.
Beautiful. Well, listen, man, I got a lot of props and respect for you hanging out for us, getting out of bed and showing up for us this morning. So I thank you for that.
Always.
Awesome. Yes, Marty, you got to rock and roll too, brother?
Yeah, I'm out of here, man.
All right, Marty and AJ are going to go. We're going to keep the show going with Flynn. She's going to bring the brand bite on stage, and we're going to keep the conversation going about how I transform my relationship. Yes, Lauren's like get better for Saturday. All right, Flinner, let's get after it.
Where are we at? Here we go. All right. We got it, folks. So I'm just going to double down on what we were just talking about and talk about why doing nothing is actually everything. So high performers, listen up. I know that your default is to do, to push forward, to check the boxes, to keep moving at all costs. But here's what I want you to consider. Is your doing a defense mechanism? Is it how you're protecting yourself? Because you doing it, is it just because sitting still or being with your own thoughts is really fucking uncomfortable? If your answer is yes, let me tell you, the biggest strides in your growth won't come from more doing. They'll come from more being. Sitting in silence, being still in your mind, it all creates space for clarity and self-awareness. And self-awareness, that is the secret weapon for personal and professional growth. It's how you recognize what truly matters, let go of what's actually holding you back, and make decisions that are rooted in who you are. So today, here's your challenge. Do nothing. Or tomorrow, because we plan ahead. That's just the way we work here. Don't do it today. Do it tomorrow. Even for 5 minutes, though, you can do that today. Sit, breathe, let your thoughts run wild, and actually see what comes up for you. Because the answers that you're searching for aren't in more doing. They're actually already in you, but you need to stop and get really fucking uncomfortable in order to find them. Yes, it really is that simple. I have entered my no fucks era, and I promise you, if you take today's brand bite into account, you'll be one step closer to entering yours. You got this.
There's Flynn with the brand bite. Mornings on Live with Keith and friends. And as Rick Clody says, Flynn, you're not only dropping truth bombs on us, but meddling in our business. Yes, she is, Rick. Yep. I love her authenticity as well. It's the only way to go about it. The only way to get forward in life is to be real and be true. Richie, have a good day, brother. I see you were trying to say something, but Jimmy was just too proactive on the buttons here. So he's like, Bilous has got shit to do here. So he's pressing.
You know why I came up with that brand bite today? Because I realized for myself, like even somebody saying to me, sit for 5 minutes and do nothing, even me saying that in that moment in that brand bite is incredibly uncomfortable for me. And we know that when shit's uncomfortable for you, you better do it. You got to get into it. So as much as my brand bites are a message for everyone else and me getting in your business, they're also often messages for me to myself.
I love it. All right, we're going to continue the back half of the show here with Keith, Johnny, and Flynn. We're going to get into transforming your relationships, embracing the love you have from inside or from around you. And that's a good first hour of the show. We're just trying some new things visually on the show here today. We kicked the show off with the Strava 2024 year in review and some interesting stats we learned there as Johnny was figuring out his fax machine. And then we talked about with Carissa and Tyler Holland. And Johnny, I loved seeing your face.
Yeah, it's so nice.
Loved seeing your. So Flynn,
That was fucking nuts, dude.
So much warmth in your face and in your reaction. I was like, really
because I mean, the first part of the show, I was fucking literally disconnected. I was like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna sit here and wait until I could hear what everybody's fucking saying. And then it came back enough where I could kind of get a grip on what was going on. I was able to join, and then all of a sudden, boom, these guys are. I was like, holy shit, this is fucking it. I just loved it, and that's one of the reasons why. Remember in the beginning, Keith, you know, even I think when we first did our first podcast, you were kind of telling this is what's going on. I'm like, I don't care. I want to go. I just want everything coming out of me as a reaction of just truly how I feel at the moment. I feel like that's the best. I've done this show the same way. Like in the beginning, I can't remember what that thing you got me logged. It was called Norton or some crazy shit. That was like how the show went. I was like, no, I don't even want to know that. Yeah, whatever the fuck it's called.
I love it. Norton antivirus. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, whatever the fuck it was. And then even like my lifestyle tip. Fuck, I didn't even know when that was coming for most of the show. He just told me, boom, it's time to go. And I'm just pulling it up. So this idea of me not knowing what's going on was shown to the fullest this morning. You know, I love it. Yeah.
There's two moments this week that Flynn and I reflected upon, Johnny, which I think was a Monday or Tuesday. Somebody made a joke, and your belly laugh and your grin was just like it was.
I've never seen you laugh that hard. You were smacking your legs. And I'm like, what? I don't even know what the person said because immediately I just went to like, I've never seen John laugh like that, and I loved it.
It was really good. It was really good.
And then laughter's amazing, man. It sometimes. You know, that's the one thing that like Terry and my kids always kind of, they get a kick out of because like we could be watching a movie and there'll be something that's not intended to be funny, but I find there's so much humor. Like it can be the way that someone's moving or the way someone's running. Yeah. I'll rewind that 50 times to watch it over and over because it's like this thing is coming out of me and it's just pure joy. And it's like, so if you were to be a fly on the wall, so we're watching a movie as a family, I see something, I laugh and I rewind it a bunch of times and the kids kind of know that, but my laughter is so hard. They're laughing hard at me. And it just turns into this full blown, like laughing attack over the way some fucker's running, you know?
I have this distinct memory of watching Mrs. Doubtfire in the theater and looking at my dad the whole time, just snort laughing throughout the entirety of the movie. And at that point in time, I was embarrassed as hell. I was like, would you shut the fuck up? And now I'm like, it's such a beautiful thing. I'd like just a distinct memory of that moment.
It's great. We're talking. Go ahead, Johnny.
Those fully just like, it's just that fully organic, like it's just coming out of you. And it's something, the ones I love is when something's not even intended to be funny and you find major humor in it. That's what I love.
Kids are the best for that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And kids are the best at mirroring us when we're doing something. You know, you talk about Flynn watching your dad laugh, well, then it's like a cue for yourself to laugh. So, but it's a good segue to the topic I want to throw on the table here today, which is, our main topic today is all about transformation stories and how you can transform your relationship. And did a little bit of digging and just pulled up a video and pulled up some notes from the old school Johnny, Tony Robbins. And he put some thoughts and some consideration together, which I threw into a presentation, Jimmy, we're going to throw on the screen here right now, which is this idea of transforming your relationship and embracing love from within. Now, full story. I've gone through my journey in life as a divorced person. So, I've explored a journey. And now I sit here in a relationship, which I'm really, really extremely proud of. I want to talk about it here today. I want to talk about, what I've learned. I want to talk about how I've transformed myself. Johnny, I'm going to invite you to have some of this similar conversation as well. But let's get into discovering the power of cultivating lasting, loving relationships through inner work and just recognizing that ultimately it stands within yourself, first of all. And one of the things that Robbins and his wife Sage talk about, Johnny, is self-reflection. So Flynn, Johnny, let's go around the table and have this discussion here. So, self-reflecting, right? Looking in the mirror and recognizing that, there are aspects of ourselves that we may not be aware of that our partner is using for personal growth and discovery. And it's just this idea of being comfortable with our own mirror first, knowing that our partner's looking at at ourselves, as they see themselves through our mirror. Johnny, talk about this idea of self-reflecting to you and Terry.
Well, I mean, I have a daily exercise that I do. And I mean, it's one piece of that daily exercise. It's a mental exercise. And it's basically me looking at my behavior, me looking at my day, a quick look at yesterday, and what do I not want to do again today? What is it that I did yesterday that I don't want to repeat today? Because human beings will repeat the same goddamn stupid mistake day after day after day, and they don't even know they're doing it because it's become so familiar. But when you do a little bit of inventory, there was a while back, but I talked about how I believe the way that we need to be living is basically in present. We can toggle back a little bit into the past to make sure that we're not dragging dumb shit forward. And we want to toggle a little bit into the future to make sure that we're planning ahead enough to make sure that the present goes without any big hiccups. But that little bit of toggling back, not to beat yourself up, not to do, no negative self-talk is okay. That what I did yesterday, I'm going to write down this morning that I don't want to repeat that again today. And that has been completely, in relationship wise, it's been, all aspects of my life, but we're talking about relationships, and that, it's just been a huge, it's been kind of transformational because the transformation never stops. And that's really the key, is that it gets,
that is the key. That's
get a little bit better every day. And I don't know, I guess most people, if they understood how many mistakes that they're repeating daily and they just start removing one at a time, don't even worry about doing more. Just worry about removing some of the dumb shit that you're doing every day that probably don't even know you're doing.
Flynn, let's talk about embracing relationship challenges together. This idea of accepting inevitability, accepting the idea of learning and adapting. And then I like this idea of growing together, creating an us, facing challenges as a team, facing opportunities as a team, working through difficulties together. We heard about Carissa and Tyler, and Tyler's journey with his weight journey, and just how they have what did Carissa say? When Tyler was saying something, she threw it. I can't remember what she said, but it's this idea of,
it's like when he acts, when he's frustrated or whatever, her analogy is so, when she told that one to me, I was like, God damn it, that's good. When we accidentally react and we throw something at someone, because that's a reaction, right?
Exactly.
She says it's like a softball, so she catches it.
That's right.
Puts it down, because if she was to throw it back, that's a reaction, immediate reaction.
Well, so I'll share, and Flynn, I'm going to throw this to you in a second here, but I'll share. So a couple of days ago, in my relationship with my beautiful wife, there was a situation, and Lauren can tell I was frustrated. I expressed my frustration, just like in many ways Tyler lobbed the softball. In the past, I would have not expressed my frustration the way that I did. I would have probably got angry. I would have got pissed off. But instead, Johnny Flynn, I threw a softball up there. Lauren recognized it. She caught the softball, and she's like, "Yeah, I hear you. I see you. I'm sorry. I apologize. I recognized it," and we moved on. But I loved it because that was facing the challenge as a team. I can tell you in the past, guys, that would have turned into a fight. True story. True fucking story.
And like when you are a highly driven person with a lot of energy, and like I have always been that person, and I've been in a lot of long-term relationships that we just fought a lot. Like I have put my hands through walls, not proud of it. And when I first met Erin, one of my key worries was that she was too nice. I was like, I don't know, I can be with someone that's too nice. Like I know my tendency, and like I don't ever want to take advantage of someone. And the first time I tried to fight with her, and I say that because I realize now that's exactly what I was trying to do.
Tried to fight with her, your words.
Tried. Her, right? Yeah. And she like came over to my place when we were dating, and she was like a little bit late. And I was like, what's up with that? Like, why are you late? Blah, blah, blah. And she was like, have you ever known me to be late ever before? It's like, no. She's like, then shut the fuck up. You're good. And I was like, yes, this is what I need. But in 10, 13, however many years later, how this shows up is exactly that. She basically disarms me. When I want to go immediately, she goes, what are you trying to accomplish right now?
Yeah.
Or she goes like, is this really the most effective use of our time right now? And she can diffuse me in a way that nobody else can, really. It's just, you have to know that about yourself first.
That's the softball she's
somebody
throwing.
can't diffuse you unless you have the self-awareness.
Yes. I love this next one that Tony and Sage talk about with their, their 7 tips about how to transform your relationship. I love this one. Making your partner, I'll even offer making us a priority, right? I think there's a lot of power in us because it's easy to make 2 I's, right? I. When you make it us, it places you in the middle here, right? So it's this idea of conscious decisions. Right.
Terry time, baby. Terry time.
Right. Daily actions, sharing goals, sitting down for the week and looking at your calendar together and making sure there's time on the calendar for your relationship, because we're quick to put the appointments on the calendar for our lawyers, for our doctors, for our kids, for everybody else, Johnny and Flynn, except for ourselves. And I love this image here because if you don't do these other things, you don't get to the last one, which is a lifelong commitment. There is no us at the end of it all if you don't take the time along the way. Johnny, I see you smiling here, brother.
Yeah, I mean, it's I guess to a certain extent, it's a little unfortunate that the way that we're kind of raised and the way we're kind of bred is not what we're talking about.
I know.
And so, there's this whole belief out there that, it's selfish if I do this, that, and the other, because I'm taking time away from my kids and my spouse and blah, blah, blah. Well, I understand that. So you first off, take that time when they don't need you. That's the first step. And, when you're taking care of yourself, you can take so much better care of them. And I don't mean it just like a roof over the head. I'm talking about when you're constantly growing, you're teaching them to constantly grow. When you're investing yourself in getting better as a person, you're teaching them that's something that needs to happen, rather than, this whole belief, I can't go to the gym because I need to, I can't go to the gym because I'll miss your softball game. No, you won't miss the softball game if you get up early and do your shit when your daughter's sleeping.
I'm really glad that you said that we're not taught these things, because let's just verbally talk this through for a moment, right? So parents raise kids, and the kids are like, well, but how come you're not loving daddy? How come you're not loving mommy? How come you're not spending time with daddy or mommy? And then they get partners, and then the cycle perpetuates. Mm-hmm. So in other words, it's like, wait a minute, daughter, son, I'm going to go on date with daddy so I can show you how to be in a healthy relationship so you can do the same thing in the future. But yet, to your point, Johnny, we're so conditioned to put kids first, and we're so guilty of, well, no, but I can't go make love or go have sex with my husband because I got to go be a mom or I got to be a dad right now. Well, no, but how are you going to teach your kids that they got to go and have sex with their husband or their wife in the future? Like, I'm glad we're talking about this, because hopefully we can change some of these perceptions. Johnny,
when it goes even deeper here, and the fact that most parents are telling their kids, telling their kids, yeah, you can do whatever you want, chase your dreams, blah blah blah, but the parents are not. And then at some point, the kid gets to a certain age and goes, well, why aren't you doing that, Dad?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
and that's the day we should all fear.
Yeah,
that's the day that I fear as well.
And when it comes down to it, just like I've always said, they don't give a shit what you say. You can say chase your dreams. But if you're stuck in some cycle of life that is bumming you out, that's what you're teaching them to do.
Yeah. So to me, we as humans lean on this one cliche that when we're on our deathbed, we all don't have any regrets. We have all these regrets about the things that we didn't do. Right? Oh, I should have done this. I shouldn't have worked so hard. I shouldn't have went to all these work meetings. I shouldn't have went to my lawyer meeting. Well, here's the reality. If you make your partner a priority, I'm thinking that you have less regret, right? So because if you're laying there on your deathbed and your partner's holding your hand as you're dying, is that not what it's all about at the end of the day? Because is that not the lifelong commitment part, right? Where you're satisfied, you're happy, you're in love, and your partner's holding your hand, and there's no, I wish I did more. I wish I did more. Johnny.
And there's, I mean, it's it doesn't have to be so difficult or complicated. You know, I mean, literally just the simplest little things. You know, I'll just wrap off a few that I do every morning. Sometime before 4 o'clock, I text my mom, Terry, my 3 daughters, tell them I love them. Yeah. Right. Then when Terry, I'm always up before Terry. When she wakes up, I make sure that as she walks out of the bedroom, I greet her. I stand up. I'll give her a hug and a kiss. I stop what I'm doing. Even if I'm on the telephone, I got someone in my ear, I still come and give her a kiss and maybe a little dance. So I'm giving her that quick moment. And then the flip side is when I climb in bed, you know, at 8 o'clock every night, and she stays up till 2, she has her 3 hours of her time after I go to bed. Mm-hmm. She literally comes and tucks me. She folds back the bed and tucks me in every night. These little things that are so trivial, but can go such a long way. So just remember, just the little things can really get you out of the gate on this whole thing.
Well, to me, that's the power of the love language, right? So clearly, you know, and I'm a fan of love language. I know what my love language is, and clearly those.
What's your love language?
I'm touch and quality time. I love to be touched and I love quality time. That's most important to me, because you know, at the end of the day, so to me that just perpetuates this whole belief of my last day on this earth, right? And it just perpetuates my beliefs that if I did nothing for the rest of my day after I worked out, I'm okay because I've taken care of my human. I have no regret. It's just like if I worked out and I had my wife touch me or love me for half an hour, then it's like, okay, I don't have to do nothing for the rest of the day. And even hearing Johnny speak, I suspect that if Johnny got up and worked out and had Terry tuck him in, if nothing happened for the rest of John's day, I guarantee you John's a happy man. Am I right, Johnny?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few pieces. There's a few pieces of the day that if they're there, you're in pretty good shape. Exactly, right. And those like my non-negotiable, like you know, Lauren touching my back is like there's this. It's like every problem in the entire world goes away, like everything. It's like.
Well, and that's just as much, and we don't have time to discuss it here, but that's just as much your nervous system as it is anything else. And how our nervous systems react to one another and how they complement each other to be able to help you in situations that are really challenging. My wife will, when I'm like really in a rough shape, she'll just put her hand like on my chest. And for whatever reason, like in a like not forceful way, just there and push a little bit, that calms my nervous system down. And she's able to like bring me to an entirely different state. So spend time with your partner too, talking about, do you actually like when I do those things, or what would actually be most helpful to you? Because again, what you want, if you call it love languages or whatever, what you want isn't necessarily what they want in return.
Yes, and you can kind of give a little gift to people. They don't know it's coming because like I'm a hugger. When I care about someone, when I see them, I hug them. I can even just care a little bit and I'm a hugger. Well, you grab a hold of someone and squeeze them. Usually after a couple seconds, you feel them release, try to get away. Just keep squeezing, because north of 6 seconds, once you're to 8, I believe it's fully in check. Your brain is releasing, you know, basically oxytocin, which is the love chemical. And so it's Keith, I would imagine you getting a rub on the back is probably triggering that chemical. But when it comes down to is you can actually give that gift to someone doesn't even know it. You just give them a squeeze and hold on to them for a little bit, and you're prompting their brain to release that love chemical, which creates connection, which creates emotion. And so we actually have a little bit more power in this whole thing than we realize.
I'm concerned, Flinner, that if I had a hug with Johnny and it lasted more than 10 or 12 seconds, I might have a different reaction.
I was just thinking that there's a lot of people in the world walking around being like, that John Anderson, he hugged me for like a little too long. And I don't know why.
Why am I still hugging during Stairway to Heaven? Am I having to move my arms back while we're dancing?
Because what's happening?
That's right.
Like the person you say hi to on the street and you're like, what? It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a beautiful.
Is that a burger in a Ziploc bag in your pocket? Or are you just happy to see me?
It's just a hard-boiled egg right now. It's just a hard-boiled egg. All right, questioning negative assumptions. We're talking about transforming your relationships, recognizing assumptions. The one that jumped out at me here was that viewing your partner as a human being doing their best, fostering empathy and understanding your relationships. You know, but most importantly, I like this idea of marrying the truth by looking for evidence of your partner's positive intentions and inherent goodness, as well as divorcing the story. Guys, You know, our brains tell us stories all the time, and often they're not the right story, right? So it's important to divorce the story when you're sitting down into a situation with your partner. I love this one as well. Responding with love, not control, right? Choosing love and then releasing the whole idea of control. And then we also continue with the dialogue of becoming a generous lover, giving unconditionally, leaning into acts of service, and just thinking of an abundance mindset. If you approach love with an abundance mentality, the more you have to share, you're going to create limitless wellness and affection. And then, of course, recognizing that the inherent love within. Love is our true nature. It's our true nature. To do that, you got to remove barriers. You need to cultivate self-love. We talk about that often. It's hard to love somebody else if you can't look in the mirror and love yourself first. And I love this last one here, right? Because I believe what I loved about this whole discussion is that it ends where it begins, and it actually ends with the way that it began with Carissa and Tyler. Or I'm sorry, with Rick, which is, you know, it starts up here. It starts in your head, and then it moves to your heart before it moves to your muscles, right? So just like your relationship, it starts in your mind, that mindfulness, right? And something we didn't talk about here today, which is this idea of like. It's easy to love somebody, Flynn and Johnny, but sometimes you don't always like somebody, right? You know, Flynn, there might be I don't like Erin right now. I don't like her. She's kind of being a difficult human, right?
I think those days are more on her side than mine, but yes.
Right, but we know what happens, right? Where you're like, Johnny's like, I love Terry, I love her to pieces, but right now I don't like her because she's kind of being difficult, and that's okay, right? But it's having that awareness.
And sometimes them being difficult is your own reaction to yourself.
Yes,
like is what I've learned. Like, oftentimes when I'm like being nitpicky or I'm seeing shit that I otherwise wouldn't see, I'm like, I'm just in a bad way, and I'm taking it out on her because that's the easiest thing to do. That's the closest person to you, versus being like, okay, what's actually going on and why am I reacting like this?
Yeah. So there we go, guys. We're talking about relationships. Adam's coming back here I have that with my son, with my teenage son now and again, talking about this idea of practicing mindfulness and love, and recognize the inherent love within. But nation, you know, as you go through your day today, you have the power to transform your relationship. You do, but ultimately it's got to start with yourself first. I know it's so cliche, but I know I've done it. Johnny's doing it every single day. Flynn's doing it. And as cliche as it sounds, the idea with this show is to drop nuggets, drop pieces of knowledge that we've learned or we've read that might perpetuate you to do something today. So maybe it's sending a note to your partner. Maybe it's giving your kiss to your partner, or asking your partner what their love language is. Johnny, Flynn, as we wrap this segment up, final words to you two. Flynn?
Your partner just wants to be seen. So often when we're in our own heads and we're in our own routines, it's so easy to be innately selfish. And if you just take a minute to show them that you see them and to actually be present in that moment, like that does wonders. It's not a lot of complicated shit. Try doing the small things first.
Yeah, good point. Johnny, final words from you, brother, before you got to rock and roll. I knew you got to rock and roll, bud.
Yeah, I remind myself, like just the other night, the Terry time, she wanted to watch a movie. Okay, so we're watching a movie, and it was just a little rough that day, I think. I mean, she didn't really tell me, but I just that was the feeling I got, whether it's myself or it was her combo, it didn't really matter. But what I reminded myself was this: number one, it's okay. You know, we all have those days. And then number two is that she has those days, I have those days. So for me to confront her about that is like, you know, and like, hey, what's going on here? Blah, blah, blah. That's like to say that I don't have them. And so a lot of times, you know, when as people, we're all going to have those days. If you're going to have them, your partner's going to have them, just remind yourself it's okay. It happens to both of you. Just keep moving forward.
You know, Johnny, I love that for what you just said, because it reminds me of what Jory has said. And again, I take things from you guys all the time. When your partner's having a bad day, right, Johnny, it's just a moment in time, right? Just a moment. Right? Doesn't mean it's going to be a bad day tomorrow. If the bad days and bad moments continue stacking, well, that's when you got to sit back and
they outweigh the good.
Right. Okay, what's going on here? But if it's a moment, like, okay, there's a moment happening right now. I get it. It's a moment.
Well, right? and until you have the life where you don't fuck up, which will never happen.
Right.
Stop fucking getting on your partner for fucking up.
Yeah, there you go. And we got Rick Clota joining in saying, we see the world as we are. You're right. The inner work and self-reflection is so important. Great stuff, Rick. I appreciate you, my friend. All right, Johnny, I know you got a rock and roll, pal. What do you got on the agenda today, bud?
Well, today we're actually getting packed up. We're actually going up to the oldest daughter's to do her dress fitting because she's getting married next year. Yeah. And then we have a day with the grandson. So it's going to be a fun weekend.
How old's your grandson, Jenny?
4.
That's a good age. That's a really good age. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Soon we're gonna be getting him a little quad, so he can start riding. But this is all based up his, of course, his mom, our daughter, is the one who gives the green light for this stuff. So
you can't bring that home without permission.
Yeah.
I would not be cool with that either.
Yeah. So once she says it's time, then we can, but yeah, that's the fun stuff that's coming. Yeah. But he's a blessing for sure.
Awesome. Well, Johnny, travel safe with Tara. Enjoy. Are you traveling today, did you say? Or tomorrow?
So actually we're traveling right after the show tomorrow morning.
Oh, fantastic. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I'll be right here. I may actually be in a hotel on Monday for the show. We'll find out.
All right. Well, you enjoy your day today. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation today. I love the conversation about relationships. I'm all about, I love us. I was telling Flynn this a couple of days ago, I get up every single day with this attitude of working on not only myself, my relationship. And Johnny, I love it, man. I do with this show here because it's like my purpose. Right. So, okay, so what can I get up today to do better for the show, but also better for my relationship? And I just love it. It's like it's fun. It's fully rewarding, frankly. Right. So
it's easy to get better, easier to get better when you practice every day. And that's what we do on the show.
Exactly. And because we talk about it, I feel like I need to do it. Because one thing to talk about, if I'm going to talk about it, then when I hang up the mic, it's also okay, I'm going to stop talking, but then not do it. That doesn't work for me. Right. No. So that's what I love being in this, creating this platform and bringing folks in like Rick and Adam and so forth and Joey and going, okay. And we know we say things enough times, something hangs eventually. Right. So, all right, Anderson, you rock and roll. Flynn and I are going to get on with the community corner, the creator spotlight, so we can keep the day going. Okay, buddy?
Have a good loop, guys.
All right, Johnny, take care, bro. We'll see you tomorrow's loop. All right, Jimmy, Flynn, we're going to keep the show going here. We're going to wrap up here on our community corner segment. Let's see here. We got Ricky going, I always get tested on what I share, dangerous and good. Yeah, that's exactly it, Rick. All right, one of our super fans on the show here, Rick Clota, joining us all the way from, where's Rick Flynn? Is he over in New York? No, Connecticut? No.
Don't remember.
Somewhere over there on the east there. Somewhere where it's probably warmer than where he is in Manitoba. But all right, okay, listen. Let's get to the community corner. We have somebody who is rebuilding relationships. Flynn, Jimmy, we have somebody who is a marriage coach with 30 plus years of experience. He guides busy professionals through relationship challenges, helping them communicate better and reignite their love. And his name starts with Jim. Yeah, not go work out like Jim, but Jim, you don't know your last name yet. But listen, he specializes in marital. No, that's
not the word.
Is it marital or marital? Not martial law like it happened in South Korea.
It's marital. That's the second time you've dropped martial law. I know. Very unusual.
Because it doesn't fuck Flynn. Does it ever happen in our world? Honest to God, you don't see societies.
This morning show, I don't want to be talking about World War III. Okay,
we don't wake up with democracy. We don't wake up in democratic societies, and all of a sudden there's military planes landing on the fucking roofs of the.
Back to the creator spotlight.
Oh yeah, sorry, Jim. Jimmy, we can't cut this part out because part of the show is the fun stuff. Felix be all confused going, but Sir Keith, I thought we have to cut this stuff out. No, you got to keep the stuff in. It's the fun stuff. Rick, yes, South Korea is under martial law religion. Oh my God. Okay, so Jim specializes. Jim who? You don't know. We're going to tell you who Jim is here in a second.
Teasing.
Jim specializes in marital. Yeah, not martial, marital challenges. Midlife crises, Flynn, that the midlife crisis might be going away. That as generations are changing, like what's below us? Gen Z? Gen Z is like throwing the midlife
below
crisis.
us. First of all, we are not an us. You are not the same generation. So let's be really clear about that. Right. You are an X. I am a millennial. I might be an elder millennial, but we are not an us.
Well, that's what's fun of the show because, yes, Adam, I know I do like to go off on a tangent. I don't go off on tangents enough, actually. I got to do that more, I think. But anyways, yeah, so I am Gen X. Flynn's, what are you? Gen what?
I'm millennial.
Oh, you're millennial. Yeah. You know what, Adam, why did they go from Gen to Gen to Gen to millennial? It just fucked us all up because we went from Gen X to Gen Y to Gen AI, millennial. Really? Anyways, Jim who, Adam? I wonder. Jim specializes in marital challenges, midlife crisis, persistent arguments, infidelity, and trust issues. Listen, if you got infidelity and trust issues, there is bigger problems in your relationship, probably. The relationship rebuild program with Jim, he rebuilds and elevates, confident leadership, innovative approach, and he's all about taking control. What sets Jim apart, Flynn? Well, he's got over 30 years of experience. He's got a personalized approach, and he's got proven success. And he's offering a free Savior Marriage Masterclass with valuable insights, practical strategies, hope, and direction. So, Jimmy, here's what I'm going to do, pal. As we're learning on the fly here today, I'm going to do the old. I'm gonna take the old screen to the top here, and I'm going to do the old add to stage, and we're going to bring on today's Mornings in the Lab Creator Spotlight for whatever it is, Thursday, December 5th. Jim McKenzie.
Hey.
What's up, Jimmy Jim? A journey to marital, not martial law, a journey to marital bliss. What's this, Adam? Oh my God, I see that. Okay, anyways, Jimmy, we're talking martial law, marital law. You just happen to be part of today's current spotlight, which brings additional attention to you because of what's happening in Korea over there. But anyways, Flynn, why are we celebrating Jim McKenzie today? While we're doing that, I'm going to bring up Jimmy. We're going to bring up his LinkedIn page here as well, while we're talking about why Jim McKenzie is being celebrated here today on Mornings in the Lab.
Yeah, I mean, I think what Jim is bringing to the LinkedIn platform is really unique and interesting. He's got 30 years of experience doing this. He's obviously an expert in his own field. He's developed frameworks and practical systems to be able to do it. And he's doing it on LinkedIn, which is not something that we see very frequently, but is probably likely a place where a lot of people could use Jim's information and use Jim's support and assistance. So I like the way that he's approaching it. I like the way that he's using the platform. And I think it's a necessary thing that a lot of folks are struggling with. And if you can find someone that's able to help you in that facet of your life on LinkedIn, I think it's a really special thing.
Yeah, so there you go. You got Jim McKenzie, marriage and communication coach, all the way from Orlando, Florida. Yeah, get a sneak peek of his program. You been to Orlando, Flynn? I've been to Orlando once.
Oh, I've been to Orlando, yes.
It's a long way.
I used to do a lot of basketball tournaments in Orlando.
Oh, of course. So Jimmy's in Orlando. He's a marriage communication coach, helps couples to communicate, repair, and reignite the relationship. Jimmy, we had a couple on the show today, Carissa and Tyler Holland. I don't think they need any help because they're just crushing it every single day in their gym.
No, they look in great shape.
In their gym. So there you go. But Nation, you can connect with Jim McKenzie if you need some marriage and communication advice over on the LinkedIn platform, like Flynn just said here, and you can see all the services.
His carousels are legit. Like he's got really great content on things that nobody else is really talking about.
Awesome. Yeah, look at that. That's great. So Jim is the carousel king. We all know carousels work on LinkedIn, so good on Jim for doing that. But there we go. So Flynn, Jimmy, we're gonna get Jim McKenzie off stage, and we're going to continue the show here. So Jim McKenzie, here's how this works. We like to take who we celebrated in the Creator Spotlight, which today is you, and invite you to the show so you can come back around this time for Community Corner. And there might be somebody, myself and Flynn suspect there's somebody in your orbit who you want to celebrate. So we're going to invite you to the show so you can celebrate them on the Community Corner Creator Spotlight. Why? Why not? Why not? The world doesn't have as much kindness
to highlight someone in your world. Who doesn't want that?
And it's about kindness, and we surprise people. So, Jim, I don't. You didn't think we were surprising you today here, so we surprised you. So, all right, let's see here. We got Adam with the comments here. What's the divorce right now? That guy must be super busy. I think it's about 50%. I think it's still about 50%. Flynn, I think.
I have no idea what the divorce rate is, to be honest. I have no comment. I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, I think it's about 50% is what I think. So 50%.
I mean, it's been pretty stable at 50%. No.
Yeah, 50% divorce rate and 50% of half your earnings go to the other half. So there you go. That's how it works. Yeah, true. Yeah. Oh, actually, it's probably this one. There you go.
I think people get confused too. A lot of people are married. They just don't have a certificate. They don't have the license. And people are like, oh, well, I'm not married. I'm like, can they take half your shit? If someone can take half your shit, you're married.
That's how it works. That is how it works. That's how it works. All right. As we wrap it up, highlights for the show today, Flynn.
I just thought it was a really great show. I love the new visuals that we're doing. I think it brings a really different element. Again, showing folks how we're building in public. We're trying things out. We're doing new things. And I thought it was really good. I mean, how do you not look at Carissa and Tyler and be like, whoa, they've got their shit together? And you had mentioned Tyler's transformation.
Yes.
Carissa's transformation physically as well was wild also.
Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. Yeah.
Also a wild transformation. So to see two people, one, be self-aware and realize this wasn't it. Wasn't how they wanted to live. And then two, be able to say let's do this and let's do it together and really transform kind of everything in their lives. It's really inspiring.
Yeah, that's awesome. Jack Dugan, I see you there in the feed. I don't know if you're still here. How's your new job going? Hey, Flynn, I was corrected with Dugan's last name, eh? I don't know if it was his brother. Did I tell you it was his brother or somebody? But over on YouTube,
by the name of Dugan said,
yeah, it was Dugan. It's it's Duran. So I'm like, oh, it's Dugan. So, and of course, we got Rick Clody here with the comment here. Relationships are risky. They can take half. Yeah, they can take half the shit,
all your heart.
But as we say in the South, you got to risk it for the biscuit. True story, Ricky. Yeah, there you go. You got to risk it for the biscuit. Yeah, I like that too.
Said with a Southern accent too. Like me and you saying risk it for the biscuit is meh. But with a Southern accent, that's legit.
That's good. We got Adam. Hey, Adam, you're hanging out this today. Don't you got to go back to work, brother? Or are you just taking a day off?
Long break.
I know. Yeah, Adam generally joins us on break here on the show here, so it's nice to have Adam hanging out with us here for a little bit here this morning on the show here.
For the brisket.
And I see that Parliament has rescinded martial law.
Why are we gonna? Why?
Yeah, I'm just curious. Yeah, it's very curious to me. We might make this last segment of the show like a current events news part of the show. I'm not sure. Oh, Adam's at work. Yes, Adam, you're doing the duty at work, man. Hey, Adam. So we exist on LinkedIn to give people on LinkedIn something to do. Yeah, fuck, I just want to go kill time. So that's why. So Rick kills time with us on LinkedIn, but through YouTube. No, don't watch it on LinkedIn. Though, watch it on YouTube so we make some money on this thing. Yeah, exactly. Dead at the moment. All right, we're gonna get Adam. What do you do? What does Adam do, Flynn? Do we know?
I don't know. Shows it all. World events, relationship, out, getting up in the AM.
It's true. Yeah, and Rick, and did you miss? And you might have missed the conversation about men's opinions on female genitalia. So listen, today's show we talked about how to be good in your relationship. We talked about the Strava 2024 year in review, like what people are doing in the gym. We talked about men's perceptions of female genitalia. What's the hint? We like it. Females like, I don't like it. Men are like, yeah, we like your genitalia. Don't worry about it. We talked about that. We talked about transformation with Carissa and Holland. And we're talking, of course, with martial law over in South Korea. So yeah, it does have it all. I'm inviting you, Rick, to think about it this way. Think of Men's Journal, Men's Health, some WWE, some Peloton, mixed in with some Howard Stern, crazy characters. And that's what the show seems to be. It's just a circus. Exactly. Yeah. Okay, producer Jimmy, producer Flynn, I think it's time to go to work. So Ricky, here's where the real job starts, right? We all get up early in the morning to get the show started, but now it's like, all right, I got to
get to work. Like I said, a virtual cornucopia of value. Somebody needs to screenshot that right now.
It's a cornucopia of value. That's exactly.
Listen, I haven't heard anyone use cornucopia in a sentence probably in my whole life. So good for you, Rick, for pulling that one out.
You think Johnny knows that word, cornucopia?
So I've got a random idea, and this is aligned with it.
All right.
There's a risk to future generations, I think Gen Z onward, that words like cornucopia and words like happenstance and phrases like Bob's your uncle, or I don't know, I can't think of another one right now. They're at risk.
They are
extinct.
Yes.
So we need to make sure, maybe with this platform, maybe not, that gets out there. The value of those words, like where are a buffet of truth bombs?
I agree.
What are we going to do? We got to make sure.
I saw something. So I'm glad you bring this up, Flynn, because I saw something yesterday. I gotta pull it up here because I saw something yesterday, which I made it a point of saving in my folder because of what you just said, which is we need to continue this idea of perpetuating things that are going away. So for example, one of them was, I got a topic for a future. So Rick Clody, you got to lean into what I'm going to say next. I'm thinking Rick and maybe even Adam know about this. Chi-Chi's is planning U.S. return after 2 decades.
I don't know what that is.
What? You don't know Chi-Chi's? Chi-Chi's, the old school Mexicana restaurant that went away. No, you're young. That's right. You're only 20. So yeah, I'm telling you, Claudia, do you remember Chi-Chi's, this restaurant over here? And I'm not talking about the areola underneath the woman's breast. Like not like, so I know in the Mexican world, like they'll call the areola the Chi-Chi. So I'm not talking about the
First of all, it's not called an areola at all. It's called an areola.
Areola.
I didn't know. I didn't know there was another word for it either.
Yeah, so Chi-Chi, right? So, but see, Rick knows. Love me some Chi-Chis. I agree, Rick.
Bottom boob. That's bottom boob, or it's actual areola.
Look, so the areola, I think in Mexico, I think the slang word for areola is Chi-Chi.
Okay. Well,
and Rick is like, yeah, areola sounds appetizing. Yes, exactly. All right. Yeah. So Rick, continue with the cornucopia of topics. We're talking Chi-Chis and areolas and female genitalia and the Strava 2024 year.
How do we keep Bob's your uncle alive? Is what we need to know. How do we keep phrases like Bob's your uncle alive?
You just got to keep saying it on the show. And then Adam, here we go. Nothing beats fish and chips and fulfilling.
Filthy and fulfilling. I don't know. What is that? What is that?
Yes, Adam, that was totally Chi-Chi's, man. So
okay.
So here's what we're gonna do. When Chi-Chi's comes back, I think we're gonna do a road tour and we're gonna go to Chi-Chi's and we're gonna take Flynn, and I know Marty will have not been to Chi-Chi's, but I know Johnny will have been to Chi-Chi's. So that could be
you know what? This is good because my sisters and I, we used to, when we were younger and we would like go to Florida with my parents, we loved going to Olive Garden, like loved it so much. And then as grown-ass women, we went to Buffalo and we were like, let's go to Olive Garden. Let's do it. It's not the same. Like the childhood nostalgia, some things just need to be left in the past. We should have left Olive Garden in the past.
It's true. And hey, I'm going to keep talking about Gen Xers. Hey, Ricky. Hey, Adam. Adam, are you a Gen Xer? I'm thinking you're probably Gen Xer too. I know I'm a Gen Xer, but Ricky.
I don't think he's a Gen Xer.
We got another one here, Ricky. Millions of Americans, Gen Xer, are dealing with psychiatric. Let's try this again. Millions of Americans, especially Gen Xers, are dealing with psychiatric disorders associated with leaded gas. Oh, I think my internet's going out. No. Jimmy, did we lose Flynn or was that me? Jimmy, message me. Tell me if I'm still here. Oh, man, this is funny. Hey, Jimmy, am I here? Okay, good. Rick still sees me. Good. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, so listen, I'm with you, Rick. Leaded gas, apparently. Oh, you're 43, you're bro. Okay, good. Well, you're a couple years younger than me. So, hey, the good news is, Adam, look at me, man. The good news is, this is what you get to grow up to become. Myself or John Anderson. I wouldn't grow up to be other Rick Clody. I'll make myself or John Anderson. True story. Yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad we're coming in loud and clear. I think we're going to work towards wrapping up the show here. I got some post-production to do. Rick, you know how we roll, man. We make content quick and get it out to our audience pretty quickly here. So we're going to get out of here. We're going to be back tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time. You guys know where we are. We're going to talk financial stuff and financial advice. We're going to talk numbers and so forth. And baby, I saw your note. If you're listening right now to the show, I love you too. I love you so much. And I'm enjoying building my life with you. Cody, you have a good one, pal. Adam, you have a good one, brother. Let's keep our eyes open for what's happening across the pond over there in Korea. And we'll see you guys here in the morning, getting you guys out of bed. Producer Jimmy, let's go to work. We'll get out of here. And I'm going to do this. See you guys. See you, Adam. See you, Rick. Have a good one, guys. Oh, yeah, we got a great adventure. Oh, yeah, we do Adam Peters tomorrow. Yeah, true story. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Ciao.